Hey there, this is a sippy cup. It's my very first sippy cup to do. I'm just going straight on the stainless base this time. I want my colors to be a little bit more muted. It's for a little cousin for Christmas, and he's just an all-around hardcore boy, so I don't want anything too bright and frilly, but I want something cool for him. He's a sweetheart. So we are going to use these inks. Got the Tim Holtz Indigo, Botanical, and Poppy Field. It's kind of a reddish orange, not too crazy red. You can kind of see where it's spilled out all over this. I guess I didn't put the lid back on right. And then trusty Piñata White. Love it. Use it so much. So I have 20 milliliters of epoxy mixed up. So we are going to just put it on here nice and thick. Not so thick that it's literally falling off in clumps or anything, but thick enough that we get movement. I typically do a thin layer and then go back over and add thickness. I feel like I can get more control that way and not have to worry about it going everywhere other than where I want it to go. That's just how I do it. You do it however works for you. I've seen people slather it on there. That makes me nervous because I see it get in the rims all the time, and that just makes more work for you, because not only do you have to clean that up, it's all over your noodles and everything else. I feel like there's just a trickle down effect that I just don't care to deal with. But maybe I'm wrong. I've only ever seen it on videos. I've never actually done it myself. So we are just going to smooth that out a bit, and then I'll get the bottom. Whoopsie. Make sure you're working over something that's going to protect your surface. You can see how much ink and epoxy is on this piece of scrapbook paper. There's almost that much ink and epoxy underneath that scrapbook paper, because there are many, many times that I just don't even think about it, and I don't practice what I preach. But it is what it is. This isn't exactly like my household cabinetry or anything. This actually used to be the cash wrap checkout counter of my friend's scrapbook store many, many, many years ago. I've had this countertop since 2010, I think. 2011? I don't know. A long time. It has moved around with me. So that's all I'm going to put on there. I'm going to let it kind of smooth out a minute. I made 20 milliliters and I still have about 9 left. So since I had never done one of these, I had no idea what to expect. So while that's actually turning and leveling, I'm going to put my leftover epoxy in this hex mold that I'm working on. Just to give it a purpose in life without wasting anything. I made a really cool one out of all my scrap runoff, and I really liked having that. It made a really pretty mixture. So if you have glitter that falls off, don't be afraid to save it. Just throw it in its own little solo cup or something. At first I started saving like all the pink tones and all the blue tones and stuff like that, and I actually just ended up throwing them all together, and it made a really pretty mix. Alright, so I've got that done. Got that just about ready. Just for giggles, here's the mix that all my fall off made. Of course, this is the back, and I've got a top coat on it. And that thing makes a really heavy block, which is good, because sometimes whenever I use my small one at work, it sticks to the sweat of my cup. There we go. Okay, so I have one big bubble in there. So I really want my emphasis to be a little bit more of the blue. The top to this lid, or the lid to this cup, is blue. but it's kind of a baby blue. It only came in baby blue, baby pink, and white. So I did a blue one for him and a pink one for his sister. They're almost too old for sippy cups, but who knows? Maybe if they take good enough care of them, they can give it to someone else in the family. I don't know. It's a great Christmas gift, so I'm not too worried about it. Make sure you're dropping some that can drip over the edges of the bottom. And I had a big old drop epoxy, kamikaze right off of there. But I don't really care about this countertop for cosmetic purposes. So now we're going to do botanical. Just kind of dropping it all over. I'm not going to use a ton of the red because I don't want it to mix with the white and make it pink. And I don't want it to mix a lot. Another ball. Good grief. Some of these beads of ink just literally bead up and fall right off the cup. It's the weirdest thing to me. There's another one. That's like 4 that have happened so far. Makes no sense to me, but there's another one. I guess I'm dropping it at a weird angle. I don't know. Ooh, that came out a lot. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do there. I may end up going back and adding some more of either one of those colors, but for the moment, that's all we need. So we'll just drop a little red in all the blank spots that I have. Do that where it slides. And again, make sure you're getting the bottom, All right. That's probably all the red we're going to do. Now let's go ahead and add a little white. Good grief, that came out of the neck of it or something. Not what I was going for. Ugh, man, my inks are rebelling on me or something. I don't know what the heck's going on. They're beating up, they're falling off, they're popping out whenever they feel like it. I don't know what the heck's going on with these things. They're dripping when I don't want them to. Oh my gosh. I'm making such a mess. That just dropped like 6 drops right on my floor. But this is my she shed and not my house, so that's not that big of a deal. Alright, so that's all I'm going to drop on there for the moment. I've got nice and thick epoxy on there, so we're going to actually take this off. And we're going to do this. And I'm actually having a reaction because I've been doing these without, and I've been heating this up without my mask on, which is really stupid of me, and I know better. But I've been trying to make the sound a little bit better, and I know that it'll get really muffled if I have that mask on. But I'm gonna have to put my mask on to heat this up, and I'll just have to do a voiceover or something. I'll see how talking works. I'm thinking it's not gonna work out in my favor. So I'm just adding a little bit to kind of dial back the white that was on there. Oh my gosh, I don't know what the heck is going on. Look at this. It's like a crime scene or something. Only blue. It's like I've murdered a Smurf. I don't know what's going on. So we are going to heat this up and get some movement on it. Let that turn for just a second. I've got my mask on now. Hopefully the audio is fine. So I'm going to heat this up, but first I just saw a really big bare spot that I'm going to address really quickly. There we go. All right. So we're going to heat this up to kind of give it some cool movement here. I'm going to take that off first. I like the control I have whenever I do it this way. I feel like I can heat it in the way that I want it to be heated, not in the way it wants to be heated. When you're doing this, make sure again you're on your work surface that is protected, because it will get messy. Plenty of the spots on here are caused from it dripping. Downward, upward. Just that kind of movement. And expect it to get messy, because it's a liquid. So we're going to go this way and let it slide to the bottom a bit. But not too much, because it will literally drip right off. Just want to let it separate just a bit. I really think I want some more white on here. Make it a little bit stormier, so to speak. Maybe my white will be nice and not go everywhere and only go in small drips. I feel like Darth Vader talking and breathing right now. I really hope that it's not annoying sounding. The way my mask rattles, it's annoying on this end, for sure. Alright, I think that's all the white I'm going to use. So once again, I got to heat that up to get some good movement around that epoxy, since it separates like that. That's not as pink as I thought it was going to be. It actually made it look a little bit more orangey. So at this point, I think I'm done with my heating it part. I think I'm just going to go up and down and around until I get the amount of spread that I want. Kind of looks like a watercolor. Oop. I hate when it pools like that. It looks cool, but it only looks cool in that one spot. It never looks like that on the rest of the cup. But if I could get the whole cup to look like that, I would be totally okay with that. Then it looks like an oil slick. It's kind of cool. Oh, I'm dripping. This is why you want to work over something not important. Also, make sure you've got something in there, in your cup, that will grip your cup. Shelf liner. Some people use those tumbler inserts that they found on eBay or Etsy or Amazon or whatever. I don't do that. I'm too cheap to do that. I just kind of use what I have around the house. This is literally a noodle I got for $1 at Academy a couple weeks ago on clearance. I like how that looks, but that's not how it'll end up. I'm going to go ahead and give this a little bit more heat. I'm going to break that white up a little bit more. Kind of cool the way it breaks up like that. Just allowing this to pool at the bottom so I can get more of that swirling right there. When I get that part knocked out, so I'm going to let it kind of drip over to this area and kind of swoop that up a little. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not what I was going for. I was going for more like a basic ink swirl, but since I didn't do a white base coat, it really wasn't going to work out in my favor. I've done a couple that were just ink swirls, but it's been a little bit, so I didn't remember what that looked like. I'm just going to kind of manipulate this a little bit before throwing it back on the turner. And then I will set my timer for roughly 4 hours. Since this is really, really thick, I'm going to let it turn for longer. If it was really thin, I'd say like 2 or so hours. But since it's really, really thick, I'm going to put my shop light on it so that it stays warm and cures a little bit better. But it doesn't really need to turn for more than 4 hours. Just a waste of electricity, honestly. If you don't have timers, man, oh man, you need them in your life. They have saved me so much worry. Because I feel like the longer they turn, the more risk there is of them falling off of the turner arm. I've only had that happen a couple of times. And I was not real happy about it when I did. And it's one of those things that, it's like being an optician. That's what I do in my day job, my real job. You're not a real optician until you've broken someone's frame, which makes you want to vomit when that happens, but it's bound to happen to everyone. So this looks pretty good. I'm going to heat up right there where I've got kind of it looks like paint flakes, and right here. See if I can't get that to look a little nicer. Kind of blend it, break it up. Don't get too close with your heat, because you can scorch your epoxy and it just isn't pretty. It makes it really wavy and bubbly and just messes up the finish really badly. Oh, I got more epoxy right there. Man, that was a pretty drop. I'm going to let that turn for a little while and just see what happens. But first I'm going to turn my rotation to the other direction. I don't have a switch on this turner that allows me to flip it off and on. I have to unplug it and plug it back in. So I like how that ended up more orangey than it did pink. I was really kind of worried about using the white on the red, but it looks more like an orange and salmon. That right there looks like a sunset to me. So that's what I'm going to leave it for the night. Not sure why I'm getting these little cells and kind of break up lacy look. Who knows? But if you have any questions, give me leave a comment. The colors I used again were the Tim Holtz Poppy Field, Botanical, Indigo, and then Piñata White. The epoxy I use is Envirotex Light. It's just from Michael's. I used a 60% off coupon, so I got a gallon kit for 40 bucks. It was worth it. I feel like it takes me a long time to go through a gallon. I know that I go through something half that size in half the time, but it just feels like a gallon lasts so much longer than 2 half-gallon kits. I don't know. I'm weird like that. So, anyways, that's it for tonight. Please subscribe to my channel so that you get the most recent videos that I upload. I'll be probably uploading almost everything that I do just to have a variety, because they do all turn out differently. So, yeah, that's it. You have a good one.